Good morning, everyone. We'll get started with our Sunday family service. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. We'll first have starting bell. Please rise for the entering of the minister. You may be seated. We'll now have 1 minute of Zazen meditation.
Good morning, everyone. So we're gonna have 1 minute Zen meditation. Please put your hand together in Gasho and bow. Thank you very much.
We will now have Samkai, bowing 3 times to Buddha. We will now have Vandana Tisarana. Please rise.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato
Thank you. You may be seated. We will now recite part of Great Perfect Wisdom Sutra. If you have your book at home, it's on page 33.
Avaloki
We'll now recite the Hanya Shingyo on page 32 while we offer incense. So we'll start with my left side, 6 foot social distancing, one at a time. So if you could take one little cup of incense, offer your incense, and then place the cup on the right side of the altar. We will now recite the creed. If you have your book at home, then that's page 248.
Embraced by the Buddha's boundless compassion, we shall attain a peaceful state of mind and enjoy a life of tranquility. Having confidence in the Buddha's most excellent teachings, we shall attain a clear state of mind and enjoy a life of purity. Following the Buddha's example, to avoid discrimination and to be mutually harmonious, we shall transcend the distinctions between self and others and enjoy a life of peace.
Now we will recite the verse of the three treasures on page 249.
Although it is hard to be born into human life, now we are living it. Although it is difficult to hear the teachings of the Blessed One, now we hear them. However, if we are not awakened in this present life, we may continue to struggle in the midst of ignorance. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We go to the Buddha for guidance. May we always walk in the way that leads to enlightenment. We go to the Dharma for guidance. May we be submerged in the depths of the teaching and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. We go to the Sangha for guidance. May we all with one accord live the life of harmony and peace. Even throughout eternity, hard it is to hear such excellent and profound teachings. Now we are able to hear and receive them. Let us endeavor to understand the Buddha's teachings.
If we may all please rise, and we will sing the Gatha, Softly Blew the Breezes.
On the summer
much. You may be seated. We'll now have a Dharma message by Deacon Jigaku Takenomichi.
Good morning, everyone. Ohayo gozaimasu and buenos dias. I want to thank you for attending our Sunday family service weekly and for tuning in from home for those who watch us online. So 2021 is already well underway. Did you guys make any New Year's resolutions for this year? So this year, I know we spoke about it briefly already, but it's the year of the ox. And in the Chinese zodiac, they also place the 5 elements into the zodiac as well. So this year is the year of the metal ox. So what that means, or what we're told it means, is that if you have any long-term goals that you're not expecting an outcome to right away, this would be the year that you would make those goals and start working towards them. So when I think of the year of the metal ox, I think that's a great time for me personally. This year I'm supposed to be starting my monastery training later on in the year, and I definitely don't see that ending very soon. So today I also wanted to talk to you about meeting others. Meeting others are precious experiences we share throughout our lives. Every encounter has the potential to teach us something new. Have you ever heard of the word gahoji? This word was the word that Dogen Senji used when he met his Dharma teacher. It means meeting someone is vital for everyone. These are wise and meaningful words. Meeting someone is vital for everyone. What do you think this means? For me, Dogen's words make me think of Kizuna, because Buddhism shows us that we are connected to everything and to everyone. Where Kizuna is about creating bonds over long periods of time, Gahoji is about the preciousness of that one encounter, that one bond. Let me try to explain this a different way. A few weeks ago, I was walking my dogs on one of my days after my shift at work, and I'm usually really rushed. I'm trying to get home to get dinner going, and there's this very flat road at the bottom of the base of the mountain where we live, and people tend to go there to walk because it's easier than going up and down the mountain. So I usually see a few random people where we share niceties like hello, how are you, good morning, things like that. And there's this one lady who always stops and she just takes a moment, and she usually just nods at me and just like takes this second of pause. On this one particular day, this lady came up to me and she said, "Can you just stand here with me for a moment? You always bring me calmness, and I always feel at ease afterwards." So I found that a little strange when she told me that, because normally I'm far from being calm. I'm more in a rush trying to get through the day. But whatever it was that this lady was going through, it was something that she just needed a little something extra from somebody. So I stood there with her, and I think it was a good 5 minutes or so. And we just stood there in silence. She never told me what was bothering her, or she never even mentioned it later on down the road. We still see each other every few weeks or so as we're walking our dogs. So I don't think that I necessarily gave her something. I certainly stood there with her and we spent our time together in silence, and it must have brought her some peace. But it also brought me back to focus on the here and now. So when I'm walking my dog, I always try to keep in mind that, she's home all day and she's not an outside dog, so she has to wait for us to let her out. So I don't want to rush her during her walks, because that's her time to smell the flowers and enjoy her day. So it brought me back to that moment that it's not about rushing to get through the day. It's about the encounter and the experience that we share with each other. So I stood there with her. We had our moment. And that day when I got home and I started going through my dinner routine, I feel like our meal that day tasted a little bit better, just because I had the time to process everything and enjoy everything as I was doing it, whether it was the peeling of the carrots or the chopping. I just took the time to be there just doing that and not worrying about the outcome of how is dinner going to come out. So that's one form of a precious encounter or gohojin. Another one that I want to talk about, now that we live in the age of technology, is that our meetings aren't necessarily only in person, but they can also be online. So when I was a teenager, this was like a while ago, the internet was just starting out and we had like AOL Messenger, and Facebook wasn't a thing yet or anything like that. And it was very difficult to know who you were talking to. But there were these chat rooms, and you can go into the chat rooms and you can meet people, and it'd be under, like same interests, like animal lovers, dogs specifically, or birds, or whatever it may be. And you would go there, and your only form of communication was a message typed out. Now we can send video messages, we can record our voices, we can live FaceTime each other. So our meetings aren't just limited to who we meet face to face. And that doesn't mean because we meet someone online that our encounters can't be as deep and meaningful as gohojin. So I have this one friend, and we knew each other for, I want to say, a good 12, maybe 15 years, and our only interactions were ever online. And we would only talk to each other through either like a video game, or at this point Facebook was out already, so we would send like Facebook messages. So this particular friend, we actually met up in Japan a few years ago, right before I was leaving to come to Hawaii. And even though we had already known each other for so long, when we met, it was still another precious encounter, because not only did we already know so much about each other before meeting in person, but we also had so much more to catch up on that it made the experience that much more meaningful. So we just have to be mindful of every day we step out of our doors is a day that we can have a precious encounter with somebody, and it's always good to keep in mind gohojin. Even if it's someone you've met previously, even if it's a good friend, we always have a group of friends that we go get coffee with, catch a movie, watch a show, go bowling, whatever it may be. But every time we encounter each other, it's always a chance for gohojin. We never know what anyone else is going through in their lives, but we always have the ability to impact how our days will play out and how we choose to see them. And it might also enlighten someone or allow them to see things in a different way. So for 2021, I want you to think of gohojin every time you leave your home, every time you're at the market. Think about the difference that a kind word can change in someone's day. Think about just a smile or a nod and how that can brighten someone's mood or feel them like they're being acknowledged. And likewise, think of that when you encounter someone else and what they're giving you. Because sometimes things might be a little hard for some of us right now, especially with our current circumstances. So being kind to each other and cherishing every encounter is very important. So remember, 2021, gohojin. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deacon. We will now have Shomyo and Sampai. If we could please rise.